my Form 4 student. Hello, I hope you are doing well. It's me again, Madam Gracious Kanzini from Educare Tanzania. Welcome to proceed with our chemistry session series, and I hope you are enjoying the lesson so much because we have our amazing topic which is nanometals and their compound. In this topic, my student, we have already looked on the introduction and the whole concept of the nanometals, but also we have started our second part of our topic, which is our nanometal known as chlorine. So in the previous session, in our series of our sessions, tuliona chlorine ni nini, sifa za chlorine. Now we are proceeding with the concept of chlorine, whereby we are going to start with the chemical properties of chlorine. Now, when we talk about the chemical properties of chlorine, before I proceed, I would like to make it clear for you. It means here tunaenda kuangalia uwezo alionao chlorine as a nanometal to react with the other element, or to have a reaction, to involve in the different reactions. So hapo ndo tunaongelea chemical properties, hiyo ndo sifa ya kikemikali. Now let us start as follow. The first is, it is soluble in water to form pale yellow solution known as chlorine water. Kwamba katika wakati tunasoma hii chlorine tuliona kwamba chlorine ina exist katika greenish yellow color. So inakuwa na rangi kama ya green to yellow. So intermediate there, so is what we say greenish yellow color. So wakati ina exist, I mean wakati tuna consider the chemical property ambayo ni kwamba it is soluble in water, kwamba ina uwezo wa kudissolve katika maji na pia kwamba to form a pale yellow solution known as chlorine water. So vile katika ile reaction or the setup during preparation of chlorine gas tuliona kwamba yenyewe ina uwezo wa ku react with water. That's why imekuwa avoided, haiwi collected over water, simply ni kwa sababu ya solubility yake, kwamba the chlorine ina ile ability ya kureact na water, so it tended to be soluble in water, ambapo inapelekea formation ya chlorine water or the pale yellow solution, ambayo pale yellow solution ndo tunaita chlorine water. As we proceed tutakuja kuona nini maana ya chlorine water, ni compound gani, ina vitu gani and so forth. Now this is the simple reaction, chemical equation reaction which show this solubility of chlorine in water to form a yellow solution or the chlorine water. So we have our chlorine. This is chlorine, my student. Chlorine gas. Sorry, this is yellow. Just typing error. So this is chlorine gas plus water. So it dissolves in water, as you see here. And after dissolving, what are the products we are going to have? We are going to have the hydrochloric acid solution, but also we are going to have the chlorine water. This is chlorine water. So this is a pale yellow solution. In nature it is the pale yellow solution ambayo tunaita chlorine water. As we proceed, we will understand more about this chlorine water. But also it is in aqueous, inakuwa ni katika, so I mean katika molten state or katika solution state. Chlorine water which is in pale yellow is a mixture of chlorine is in water, kwamba ni mchanganyiko wa chlorine kwenye maji. Sasa kwamba tumeona kwamba chlorine ana dissolve kwenye maji, na akidissolve ndo tunapata hiyo pale yellow solution ambayo tunaita chlorine water. So yenyewe ni mchanganyiko wa chlorine as in water, chlorine ikiwa kwenye nini, kwenye maji, kwamba tunajua maji ni H2O. So now we are going to have the HO chlorine, so the chlorine in water, ambayo we say it chloric 1 acid, kwamba yenyewe tunaita ni chloric 1 acid. So this is the chlorine water ambayo ina exist as a pale yellow in color, ambayo tunaita chlorine, we call it chlorine water. So jina lake katika because it is acidic in nature, we call it chloric 1 acid. and the hydrochloric acid which is HCl. So when hypochlorous ambayo the hypochlorous ndio hii chloric 1 acid ambayo ni HO chlorine. Hypochlorous acid came into contact with a dye, ikija kukutana na rangi it oxidize the dye to a color compound, kwamba kama hypochlorous or chloric 1 acid itakuja kuwa contact with a dye, itakuja kukutana na when we talk about dye we're talking the color here, so kunakuwa na rangi. So ikija kuwa contaminated au ikija direct contact ikigusana na dye inaenda kuform the colorless compound, kwamba ile any compound with color inaenda kuform colorless, kwamba the reaction ita take place alafu ile color ita disappear. We are going to have the colorless compound. This process called bleaching, na hiki kitendo tunakiita bleaching. Kwamba kama the hypochlorous itakuja kumeet au kukam direct contact with the dye, itapelekea the colorless product, kwamba after the reaction what we are going to have is the colorless compound. Na hichi kitendo tunakiita bleaching. Simple like that. This is a simple reaction equation which show what we have said here. Now, this is the hypochlorous acid plus dye. Dye here we are involving a color, any color. So it reacts, then we are going to have hydrochloric acid plus dye oxygen complex ambayo ni colorless. Dye oxygen complex ambayo ni colorless. Kwamba hii hypochlorous imepelekea kwa kumekuwa na nini? Na colorless formation of the compound. Now, another is we are proceeding with the chemical properties. Another is when hydrogen sulfide gas is passed through chlorine water, it turns colorless and a yellow precipitation is formed. Chlorine oxide kwamba when hydrogen sulfide gas is passed through the chlorine water, kwamba kama hydrogen sulfide itapass through the hypochlorous or chloric 1 acid ambayo ndo tunaita chlorine water, it turns the colorless and a yellow precipitate is formed. Ile colorless inabadilishwa na inaenda kuform the precipitate ambayo ni yellow. Chlorine oxidize the hydrogen sulfide gas to sulfur and itself reduced to hydrogen chlorine gas, kwamba chlorine anamoxidize sulfide, the hydrogen sulfide gas into sulfur. We are going to have a sulfur metal, but also yenyewe inakuwa reduced into hydrogen chloride gas, mean that we are going to have the hydrochloric acid lakini ina exist as a gas in gas form. Now this is the diagram, I mean a reaction which show this reaction how they occur. Now we have the hydrogen sulfide plus chlorine gas. So chlorine hapa acts as a good oxidizing agent. Atamoxidize huyu hydrogen sulfide into sulfur metal. As you see here we have our sulfur metal, but also atakuwa mwenyewe be reduced into hydrogen chloride gas ambayo ni hydrochloric acid. As you see there we have hydrochloric acid ambayo may exist in gas form ambayo tunaita ni hydrogen chloride gas. The sulfur produced in the reaction form a yellow precipitate, kwamba ile sulfur ambayo imekuwa produced this one ina form the yellow precipitate, kwamba inaenda kupelekea precipitate. Tunavyoongelea precipitate, my form 4 student, I hope you are aware with, because you have already go in your ushawe kwenda kwenye laboratory chemistry ukafanya some of the experiment ukana formation ya zile precipitates, ile mix ambayo inakuwa with insoluble compounds ambayo ina form zile PPT. I hope ushawahi kuobserve. So when I'm talking about precipitate, yellow precipitate, I hope you are understanding well. Now another property, chemical property, is hydrogen chloride gas forms white fume of ammonium chloride with ammonium gas, kwamba yenyewe hii hydrogen chloride gas or hydrochloric gas ambayo tumeiona, ambayo after the hydrogen sulfide kuwa reduced by chlorine gas tukaenda kupata the hydrogen chloride gas. ambayo ni HCl gas. So yenyewe inakuwa ina form the white film, film of ammonium chloride with ammonium gas, kwamba ina react na ammonium gas, tunaenda kupata the ammonium chloride, the white film. As you see here, this is a simple reaction or the simple equation which simply show how this hydrogen chloride gas forms the white film of ammonium chloride wakati imekuwa react au imekuwa exposed with ammonium gas. So this is ammonium gas, as you see, NH3 gas plus this is hydrochloric, lakini kwa sababu ina exist as a gas here, we call it hydrogen chloride gas. So after the reaction taking place, we are going to have the product which is ammonium chloride. This is NH4 chlorine and chlorine, mean that this hydrogen is added here. Huyu ameaccept electrons of hydrogen, ameenda kuform NH4 ambayo tunaita ammonium, kwamba alikuwa ni ammonia ameenda kuform ammonium, but chlorine here is a reducing agent, oxidizing agent, imeoxidize hii compound ambayo tumeenda kupata the white film, kwamba hii ammonium chloride ni white film, inakuwa observed or inakuwa tested as a white film. Now we have another chemical property which is the chlorine is the strongest oxidizing agent, kwamba yenyewe ni strong oxidizing agent kama tulivyoona katika introduction. Vile vile hata tulivyokuwa tunatembea kwenye session zetu tulikuwa tunadiscuss sana kwamba chlorine ni nani metal ambayo from the series of oxidizing powers of those non-metals, akitoka fluorine anakuja chlorine. Kwa hiyo chlorine ni second strongest oxidizing agent. It oxidizes the iron 2 chloride to iron 3 chloride. So yenyewe inamoxidize the iron 2 to iron 3 chloride. So from the iron 2 inakuwa oxidized, tunaenda kupata the iron 3. So see how the chlorine is very strong oxidizing agent. So you can see here, my student, this is chlorine. Sorry again, this is not one. So this is chlorine gas ambayo ni 2 molecule diatomic of chlorine. So here there is L here. This is L, not one. So this is chlorine gas, just a typing error. So this is chlorine gas which exists as a diatomic atom always. So this is Cl2 gas plus iron 2 chloride. This is iron 2 chloride simply kwa sababu hapa mean that this chlorine is made up of one valence. So if it is made up of one valence and this iron is made up of 2 valence, so after interchanging their valences is where we are going to have the iron, then chlorine here zinakuja kuwa 2. I hope my form 4 students you are aware about that. So after the reaction here taking place, the product we are going to have the chloride of iron 3 instead of iron 2. So is what you see there. We have the iron, but also we have chlorine, 3 molecule of chlorine. Sorry again, this is L. There is a typing error happen here, my student, during typing. So this is L iron, this is Fe, but this is Cl chlorine. Ambayo hapa tunaona kwamba hapa kuna increase of oxidation state of this iron 2. So from iron 2 to iron 3, ina maana kwamba oxidation imeongezeka. Reaction inayo take place ni reaction gani? Ni oxidation reaction, kwamba kutoka kwenye iron 2 kwenda kwenye iron 3 there is increase of oxidation state, or the increasing number of electrons zina tend to increase. Sorry. Now the green iron 2 chloride turns brown, the color of iron 3 chloride, kwamba the green iron kwamba hii iron 2 chloride ilikuwa ni nini? Ni hii iron 2 chloride ilikuwa ni green in color, so it turns brown, the color of iron 3 chloride. So we are going to have or to observe the brown color of iron 3, kwamba iron 2 chloride yenyewe ni green, lakini baada ya reaction take place it turns to iron 3 which is brown in color, iron 3 chloride. Now my student, another is chlorine react with the hydrogen gas to form the hydrogen chloride gas, kwamba chlorine mwenyewe ana react na hydrogen gas kwenda kuform hydrogen chloride gas or hydrochloric gas which exists in gas form. Now this is a simply a reaction which show how these chemical properties occur or take place. So here we have the chlorine molecule. They are exist in diatomic. So this is 2 chlorine gas plus 2 hydrogen gas, and finally we are going to have the hydrogen chloride gas. And also the same error happen here. So here is yellow. Kama hapa ilivyo yellow hapa. So na hapa pia ni yellow. Katika typing za hizi chlorine imetokea error hapa. This is not 1, this is yellow. I hope my Form 4 students you will understand, and it is for you, easy for you to change it. No any difficulty there. Another chemical property is chlorine oxidizes sulfate, such as sodium sulfate to sulfide to sulfate, kwamba enyewe chlorine huyu kwa sababu ni strong oxidizing agent ana oxidize the sulfide. Sulfide ana oxidize to where or to what? To sulfate. So from a sulfide we are going to have the sulfate metals. For instance, here is sodium sulfate plus chlorine gas plus water. What we are going to have is sodium sulfate plus hydrochloric acid, which is aqueous. So we are going to have the sulfate. From the sulfite we are going to have the sulfate. So this is so 3 and this is so 4. Ndio tofauti ilipo kwamba we have a sulfite lakini we have a sulfate. Vitu vile tofauti. So from a sodium sulfite imekuwa oxidized na huyu chlorine ambayo ni strong oxidizing agent, na tumeenda kupata sulfate ambayo ni sodium SO4 from sodium SO3. Another chemical property is that chlorine react with a cold sodium hydroxide solution to form a mixture of chloride and hypocrisite, ambayo hypocrisite tunajua ni ile chloric 1 acid which are bleaching agent, na tuliona kwamba ni bleaching agent. Tuliona kwamba yenyewe inakuwa hypochlorite. Yenyewe tuliona inakuwa tunaita chlorine water, kwamba ni water inakuwa in the chlorine ambayo ni HOCl. Now this is sodium hydroxide and react na chlorine gas. We are going to have a reaction whereby we are going to have the sodium chloride plus this one hypochlorite. This is hypochlorite, mean that hapa tumekuwa na sodium and not hydrogen. So and finally we are going to have the water, ambapo hii reaction ina involve the bleaching agent, bleaching mechanism, inafanya changes of color. Another is the gas react with a hot solution of sodium or potassium hydroxide to give a mixture of sodium chloride and sodium chlorate. So simply kwamba gesi hii ya chlorine ina sifa ya kureact na hii hot solution of sodium or potassium hydroxide, kwamba kama ni sodium solutions vile vile kama ni potassium hydroxide, sifa yake ni kwamba ikireact inaenda kupata mix ya sodium chloride vile vile na sodium chlorate. Simply tuone reaction inavyotokea. So this is chlorine amereact na sodium hydroxide, and finally we're going to have the sodium chlorate. This is sodium chlorate, kwamba ni sodium chlorine lakini tuna O3, and here we have the moisturized water as well, but also we have the sodium chloride as another byproducts. Another is that chlorine react with potassium hydroxide in the same way, kwamba hata ikireact na hizi potassium hydroxide, kwa sababu those potassium, sodium, those are strong metals, so ikireact the same things. Let us see this one with cold potassium hydroxide, tunakuja kupata nini? So the chlorine ikireact na potassium hydroxide ambayo ni cold, tunaenda kupata hii hapa hypochlorite ambayo ni potassium chlorate, vile vile tunaenda kupata water and potassium chloride. But with hot potassium hydroxide solution inabadilika kidogo. We are going to have the reaction it just occur in the same way. We are going to have the potassium chlorate, but also we're going to have the water as well as potassium chloride. The another is chlorine oxidize sulfur dioxide gas to form sulfur chloride. Kwamba from sulfur dioxide gas we are going to have the sulfur dioxide. As you can see here, we are going to have the sulfur chloride. So this is chlorine, this is sulfur dioxide. So this is being oxidized by chlorine, which is a strong oxidizing agent. So finally we are going to have the sulfur chloride as you see there in our reaction. My students, this is all about the abilities of this gas or this non-metal, which is chlorine, which can able to react, as we have seen the whole chemical properties, chemical reactions which take place by involving our chlorine non-metal, which is the strongest oxidizing agent after fluorine, baada tu kutoka fluorine. Now my students, it's marked the end of our session, but before I sum up our session, I would like to provide a simple task for you. The aim is to ensure that you are maintaining your trials. Ndo maana natoa hizi assignment na kupa hizi task ili ujaribu. After looking the session, yes, you have to settle behind. You have to keep your time behind, extra time. So as you can try to attempt some questions, so as you can enhance understanding concerning them concept you have covered. Now the question is, describe the chemical properties of non-metal. Chemical properties of non-metal. Zipo nyingi sana na tumeona nyingi sana. So it's your choice. Choose maybe even 5, 4, 6, whatever. But the matter is, once you try is where you increase your perfect or your understanding concerning the concept. Thank you so much. Stay tuned, Educare TZ, and don't forget to subscribe our channel, Educare TZ. Also comment, like, and share this video with your fellows so you can share the material, the learning concept. Bye bye, my students. I do love you. Have a nice moment.